Good morning, friends. A big g'day from your Aussie Covid Chaplain. Trust God's blessing you in your circumstances and giving you the grace to get through whatever lockdown or limitation conditions you are in with His grace and with His favour. My role is to encourage you, to be a friend, to cheer you up, give you some motivation to get you through the day, especially if you're kind of feeling a bit down and demotivated. And I really want you to be motivated now on something I picked up with you yesterday, introduced that thought to you if you've missed it. I was talking about Opportunity Day. Now, let me explain how I come to that. We have seen through this year already great turmoil around the whole COVID thing. And then we've now just going through the turmoil, uncertainty, all the questions about what's happening in the American elections with claim and counterclaim. At one stage there, Biden was the president-elect, and then things have shifted, and Trump all along has said that there's been cheating, or whatever you call it, in the electoral process, and he wants to get it all sorted out. There's even more upheaval, as if we needed more upheaval. Goodness me. The year has been difficult enough without some kind of big political mess going on. But I sense in my spirit, and from what I understand is the process taking place, that in fact there is a clearing out, an exposing of people that weren't telling the truth, people who were cheating, people who were pushing different programs and processes for their own ends, not for the good of the people. And one of the things Donald Trump said when he was pitching himself to be president of the US was that he wanted to clean out the swamp. So he was talking about things in America that he believed were not good. They weren't the way they should be. He was thinking of Washington. We think since that time, of course, we've heard so much of a discovery of some evil and unpleasant things associated with Hollywood. And now we've seen what President Trump referred to as fake news. So even the television and news networks not actually giving us what we deserve to have, which is a clear and accurate picture of what's going on. All of this is sort of suggesting what he was hinting at right at the very beginning, that there's a need for a clean out and a sort out. And what God is impressing upon me is that God is wanting that to take place. He's going to bless a situation where that clean out can take place, cleaning out of the swamp. And what that means for us practically is that God has made a change in the highest levels, in the heavenlies. He's declared it is season, it is time for the draining of the swamp, for the cleaning out of evil things. And that just creates opportunities. Opportunities for victories where we couldn't get victories before. For honesty where we couldn't get honesty before. For freedom where we couldn't get freedom before. The next half of this year, or the end of this year, is going to be really, really exciting, as I understand it, as I sense what God is saying, because God is giving us opportunity to step into things that in the past just weren't available to us. Now, having put that bit of reminder of yesterday's conversation in your mind, let me tell you a situation that occurred several times in the Bible. There was an Israelite king who wanted to go to battle against the enemy, but his own soldiers were afraid to stand with him and fight. And so he ended up with a much smaller band than he should have had. And then as that band went out and actually began to win some battles, all of the people that ran off, the Chickenhearted, the ones that weren't prepared to fight, suddenly saw, hey, we're winning. Hey, we're winning. And they ran into the battle. They blew a trumpet to let them know that there was a victory taking place. They were routing the enemy. And then people that weren't in the fight, people on the sidelines, people hiding in the caves, came running out and joined in the fight against the enemy to be able to make an even greater victory. So I'm going to just talk to the chicken-hearted amongst us, because I'm not one to rush out with my sword and be the first one to try and get into a fight. But if the battle begins to go our way, don't we all get excited? We want to join in the victory. We want to join in the fight. We want to join in the triumph of seeing bad things overcome and good things gained. And that's what is happening in this season. As God gives us an opportunity day, an opportunity season, we will begin to see breakthrough against lies and deception and evil people getting their way. We'll see breakthrough in different areas. And as we do, listen for that sound of a trumpet. So I'm going to call this Blow the Trumpet Day, hey? We're just going to talk about this being a time when you can see God's at work. He's changed things in the heavenlies. Things are beginning to happen in different countries, in different situations where the evil is being driven back. Yes, and I hear the trumpet sound, and I'm going to get into the fight. I'm going to get into the situation of clearing out the swamp in your world. Now, I mentioned yesterday that if America has a swamp, well, we could believe that. They're Americans. I mean, that's just how the rest of the world feels about Americans. But the truth is, there's got to be swamps in each of our countries, in each of our cities. What about our local councils or the local organizations or the big business situations or our media? What's happening in our world where there may well be swamp creatures who have been working their processes, not for our good, and that now we have the opportunity to drain our swamp as well. I tell you, this is Opportunity Week. Let's call that Opportunity Week, as we see that God is at work, and he's at work on our behalf. But as he brings victories, and as we see them unfold over the weeks and months ahead, listen out for that sense of trumpet call where God says, what about you? What about you coming out of your cave? What about you coming back from your farm and actually joining in the battle? Because the battle is ours. The Lord is going forth to win and to drive back evil. Now, I know it sounds like preacher talk, sounds esoteric maybe, doesn't make a lot of sense to people that wouldn't be Christian, wouldn't understand, well, why does he come with this crazy stuff? But those of you that are prophetic, those of you that are used to listening to what God is saying, see if you can get a resonance with what I'm telling you today, that this is opportunity season, and that the victories are going to filter right down to where we are. So we can now rise up and pray. In Jesus' name, I break the power of that evil happening in my family, in my community. I break the power of the lies coming out of the mouths of the leaders around us. I break the power of corporate interests taking over ordinary people and making them become just fodder in their machinery. I break the power of the evil of the swamp that's around us. And I curse and break the power of every swamp creature that is in my world, in my town, in my community. So, blow the trumpet day. As we come to this day, I want you today to just realize and listen to the voice of God saying, there is victory in your situation. There is victory in your town. There is victory in that group that you're involved with. There is victory in your family. There is victory. There is justice coming. There is a turning around of that evil. And pray into it and say, God, I receive that. I believe that. I stand with you. I trust you for these opportunities. And let's corporately put our energy and our faith, our prayers, maybe fasting and really agreeing with God in a powerful way to see the real triumph of God's kingdom over all kinds of evil that we've had to put up with for a long time. Friends, blow the trumpet day. This day, as you get about your ordinary day, do whatever you're doing, recognize that there are breakthroughs happening around you. And as you sense it, as you see it, realize your turn is to join in the battle against evil, even if it's just praying against it. Lord, your kingdom come on earth like it is in heaven. Just praying that God will achieve all those things we believe he wants to do. So as you get about your day, keep that in mind. Blow the trumpet day. This is a real breakthrough time. And as opportunities come, God is giving a season of opportunities, then resonate with it. Stand with God in the midst of all of that. And as you do, even if you don't fully understand it, may God bless you.